Triumphant Tales is your place for hope and healing, 'cause you got this, girl.
Here's Patricia with a Y with today's episode.
Welcome. I am so glad you could make it back for this episode. In this episode, I will be sharing my greater vision, my big, hairy, audacious goal, the one that inspired this podcast and really is what is driving the whole business of Patricia.com and Triumphant Tales. So I'll be sharing that, and you'll get to meet a fascinating coach from Lynchburg, Virginia. She has gone through so much in her life, and she has a tool that is exclusively for Triumphant Tales viewers that she's going to share with us. And it has to do with choosing the right coach for you and deciding whether this is the right time to have a coach. Now, for those of you that are new to Triumphant Tales, and I know there's a lot of you, at least I'm hoping that there's a lot of you, my name is Patricia with a Y, as the intro says, and this is a show that is intended for survivors of toxic abusive relationships who are looking for inspiration and solid tools that they can use in their recovery and to learn how to work from home. And so the vision for Triumphant Tales really began a long time ago with my mother. Now, she has since passed on, but she shared with me when I was around 25, she shared with me her vision of the legacy that she saw herself leaving behind, and she never did make that happen. So part of the vision behind Triumphant Tales and the big, hairy, audacious goal of creating a getaway retreat for survivors of domestic violence and their families. That is the vision behind what I hope to achieve and leave behind as my legacy with Triumphant Tales and the services and products I provide at Patricia.com. And that's really what it's all about. In the meantime, as I am developing the network and the finances that are going to be needed to bring that vision to life, I'm hoping that Triumphant Tales, with its guests and its resources, will be able to help the current survivors to get to that point of self-sufficiency that can be possible through working from home, whether it's as an entrepreneur or whether it's as a work-at-home position. There are so many possibilities for triumph over tar, that you can avoid living in poverty by becoming an entrepreneur or working from home in some other capacity. And so that is the big vision for Triumphant Tales, is to help finance and develop the connections that I need to create a camp, a getaway retreat camp, where the kids get to do typical camp activities: rowing, horseback riding, playing soccer, whatever it is that kids typically do at a camp. And meanwhile, while they are doing all the kids' things, the moms and hopefully their support people, their friends, would be able to go through workshops and counseling sessions and get the foundations for being able to live a better life after becoming free from abuse, because there's so many challenges, whether it is in the emotional realm or the physical and financial realms. There's so many things to learn when you first come out of an abusive relationship. And if I can provide an environment that is loving and supportive and that provides the tools for recovery during the day to the adults And then at night, to come together and to build the communication between the moms and the kids around the campfire with stories and other counseling and communication help as much as can be provided in that campfire environment to provide really, again, a loving space for families to recover together. And now I'd like to get to our sponsors so I can share a very special Triumph tool and a very special guest. T.A. Summers is coming up after our sponsor, and she has a magnificent tool for getting the support you need and the support that is right for you in recovering from your toxic abusive relationship. And you'll learn about that right after this message.
Are you in need of the services of a local locksmith? Do you have a key or lock related emergency and you need help in a hurry? If you're unfortunate enough to be locked out of home, whether you've lost your keys or it's broken in the lock, you need a locksmith you can rely on to provide help fast, no matter what time of day or night. A professional locksmith doesn't just get you out of a tight spot. We can also repair and service your locks and fit new high security locks and deadbolts where needed. A professional locksmith can also advise on the best locking system for your needs. But above all else, we help people feel safe and secure. So don't panic. If you have a key-related emergency, contact us now for complete peace of mind.
So TA, tell me a little bit about your background, because one of the things that was so touching about your story is that you are a survivor. Like so many of our viewers, you are a survivor, and you are also ex-military, and I find that an amazing combination, because you were so strong and yet so vulnerable throughout your story. So I'll let you take it from there and tell a little bit about yourself and how you came to be here.
Well, I'm originally from Arkansas, and I have been through, I actually counted it up recently, 28 of my 34 years have been in toxic or abusive situations. So from that place, I decided to challenge myself and say, am I really who people are telling me I am, or can I do better than this? So I went into the military. I scored really high. I got into military intelligence, and I started to see that there was more to me than I was being told. And now the second time around, I'm starting to see, yeah, you can do this entrepreneurship thing. I think a lot of times it's easy to let our insecurities kind of get the best of us and say, no, you can't do that. That's for other people. And what I would say to that is that if you decide that you can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely. Henry Ford has a line that says, if you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that's what I found over the years, is that it does begin with that belief. And of course, with having been through toxic relationships, of course you are fighting messages and messaging from other people that says, no, you're not worth it. And it is a big fight. We can't deny that it is a big fight to erase those messages. But one of the things that I've discovered too is that even healthy people have negative messages, and so that you don't have to be as ashamed as you might feel just because you do have those negative messages. They are there. You can acknowledge them, and you can find ways to move on with them. Now, I was really excited because you've helped to create a checklist for our viewers, specifically for our viewers, to find a coach. Now, first I want to talk about why having a coach is so important when you are a survivor, and what a coach can provide for you, because of course both you and I provide coaching services to people who have been in toxic abusive relationships, along with other things, because of course I do the business side as well. But generally speaking, we do come from a place where our clients have tragedies. And why is a coach so important in that case?
Well, it goes back to those negative beliefs. You can have a coach as sort of a stake in the ground that's going to continue to move forward and can continue to see the best and the most positive aspects of your personality, even on those days when you can't see it yourself. And you will always have those days. Doesn't matter what you're making, doesn't matter how far you've succeeded, You will always have days in which you feel like, I can't do this. This was all a big fluke. It's not really me. It just was the weather, and that's how I got here. A coach's job is to ensure that you keep moving forward, ensure that you keep believing, and to give you resources and tools when you find that you're lacking in them.
That is exactly how I see it too. I mean, it is a relationship that you develop with somebody that can help you get through those rough days. And now we'll get to that tool that you've created, because not all coaches are created equal. There are some coaches, unfortunately, out there who do not have your best interest at heart and who are not in it for those reasons that you would hope them to be. So with this tool, we, TA and I, hope that you'll be able to measure up whether you are ready for coaching, and who that coach should be if your coach measures up the people that you are considering. Because you should be looking at a variety of people to handle your needs. It doesn't need to be just one, and it really shouldn't be, because that's an easy way to get suckered into something that might not be healthy for you, is to not compare. So do compare, and you can use this checklist that you can find at
at tatels.com/Patricia.
Yeah, and you can notice by that and that PATRYSHA that this is a tool that has been made specifically for Triumphant Tales users. And you have some programs that you are running to help. There's that advanced adulting that you do. And I love that term, although to me, adulting is a scary thing and I want to be a kid forever. And I kind of play along that side, but I know that, yeah, adulting is essential. We do have to pay the bills and do those things that move us forward in life. And you are the expert in that. Tell us a little bit more about advanced adulting.
Well, I created the Advanced Adulting School because there are so many people for whom just paying the bills becomes sort of the end-all be-all of their life. And we're in so much debt, and so many of us end up moving back in with our families, end up never really succeeding. So there are ways that you can get ahead no matter how much money you do or don't make. It is possible to succeed and build wealth when you make $30,000 a year. So it's a big misnomer that you have to have thousands and thousands of dollars coming in. Adulting is a method of managing yourself, managing your ideas, and managing your time so that you get the win that you're looking for in life.
That's amazing. I love that win that you're looking for in life. And you can find that information at tatels.com, as well as there's a Facebook group that goes along with it. But if you go to tatels.com, you'll find everything there. And of course, tatels.com/Patricia for that checklist on finding the right coach for you and getting it out there. Like the message from last week in episode 1, where we talked to Ellie and she talked about the importance of having mentors. Mentors can also come in for coaches, and if you are considering a coach, please use this checklist to help guide your way. Thank you so much, TA, for joining me, and I hope that as you expand your following, that you'll come back and join us and tell us about your adventures in the future, because I know that you, like all of us, are going places with our tales of triumph.
I would love to come back again.
Awesome. And that wraps up Triumphant Tales for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you're motivated to go and download that checklist from tatels.com/Patricia and get it working in your life for you. That is the Triumph Challenge this week. Now, I hope that I'll see you back next week, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Are you enjoying the guests so far, the challenges, the tools that we've been providing? I know it's only 2 weeks into the comeback, but I'd love to hear which direction you'd like to see us go in. That's all for this week. I will see you next week with a new edition of Triumphant Tales.
Triumphant Tales is your place for hope and healing. 'Cause you got this, girl.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Triumphant Tales. While you're still pumped up from this episode, be sure to write down your Triumph task and connect at patricia.com for this week's Triumph tools. Until next time, stay safe and think free.